I know how to host a show. What show is this? Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review season 9, episode 5 of The Real Housewives Dating Somebody with 25 Convictions of Potomac. So we start the episode off right where we left off at Wendy's birthday dinner, which honestly it's not even about Wendy or her birthday. It's mostly about Mia throwing a random dinner for her friends, sprinkled in with a little bit of Wendy and her birthday. So in last week's episode, which I didn't get a chance to review, and I'll explain why in a second, Jaqueline, she was getting dragged the entire episode by Karen because she told Karen in front of everybody else that she called her one night and she sounded drunk. Karen didn't like that, so she came at Jaqueline, and Jaqueline spent majority of the episode crying and looking like a fool, similar to how she does this episode. So Mia, she sees her flop of a friend going down in flames, so she tags herself in and she's like, Jaqueline, what are you doing? You're making me look bad. Like, I brought you onto the show and now you can't even go against Karen? You're pathetic. Tag me in. So she tags herself in. She goes after Karen in front of everybody else, and she asked her, Karen, didn't you call me like 3 years ago and you actually told me that you were out that one night and you were drunk, but you said that you were not out with Ray? So what is that about? And I'm like, ooh, Karen, because she's insinuating that Karen was allegedly cheating on Ray, right? Surprise, surprise. And I'm like, ooh, Karen, were you pulling a Juan Dixon on Ray? But Karen, she was quick to clear the whole thing up. If anything, I feel like Karen incriminated herself. Did anybody hear what she said to Mia? She was just like, first of all, Mia, let's get one thing very clear right now. That very night that I called you, I was extremely drunk and I got behind the wheel of the car. I'm like, Karen, you don't admit that on camera, especially with everything going on in your life right now. Like, what are you doing? Like, Mia got you in a trap, and the police are watching this episode. Like, and there we have it. We have all the evidence against her. Like, Karen, come on now. Like, do better next time. I'm surprised she let that slip. So then Mia, she continues and she asks Karen,
so like with everything going on in your life right now with this whole DUI situation, Karen, has it affected your marriage with Ray?
And I'm like, nosy bitch. Karen, she was just like, first of all, Mia, let's get one thing very clear right now. My institution with Ray right now is very complicated. It's very rocky right now. We really don't know where we stand right now between me and Ray, but I love Ray and he loves me. And then we see in that flashback, that infamous flashback of Ray admitting to Karen, I don't really know if I love you. Do I love you? I'm not sure. I think I do. And I mean, could you imagine your husband of so many years admitting to you that he doesn't even know if he loves you anymore? Like, that is sad. That is crazy. I don't blame Karen for cheating, allegedly. I'll be spreading my grand dame all over Potomac too if he told me that. And honestly, I feel like they have an arrangement anyway. They have an arrangement that allegedly that Karen, she's allowed to spread her grand dame all over Potomac as long as Ray gets at least 16 hours of sleep at home with no interruption, nobody bothering him, just by himself, right? So I don't know. And even if they did want a divorce, I feel like Karen wouldn't allow that to be publicized because Karen worries a lot about her image. She wants to be this grand dame, this perfect queen. We see how she's handling this whole DUI situation. And I feel like she feels that, maybe a divorce would be like a stain on her reputation, her image or whatever. And that's just speculation, right? So then that was that. And then Ashley, here she goes in the confessional. The streets have been talking. Okay, the streets have been talking about you and Michael for years. The streets, the back ways, the back alleys, the hallways, the highways, every single dead end street, like every single type of street that you could imagine have been talking about you and Michael for years. So why are you pointing your finger at Karen? Let me point my finger at Karen. So eventually that was that. They dispersed. They're waiting for midnight to celebrate Wendy's birthday. Stacy, she goes out to the balcony, right? She gets a phone call and she's like, oh, somebody's calling me right now, right? Let me pick up this phone call. So she picks up the phone call, and for a split second, I thought it was William from the hit show Girlfriends. I'm like, what is William doing on the show? And when I looked away for a second, I was listening to the voice and I'm like, is that Tyler Perry? Like, Stacey, you're connected like that to Tyler? But no, it was her bestie, her best friend, TJ. Calling her, for a little girl talk. So they have a conversation about nothing. And I'm looking at Stacey like, are you sure you don't want to open up your eyes to this? No? Okay, that's your choice. So last weekend I went out for Halloween weekend, and I've said it before that I love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. I go all out for it. So this year I decided to dress as the iconic, the trendsetter Lil' Kim. Specifically, my favorite award show look ever of all time, her iconic purple bodysuit with her boob out. I'll put a picture of me with the look on right here. So I went out to the club last Saturday, and it was such a good time. The music was good. Everybody was just really into it. There were so many cool costumes. I was on the dance floor just swaying back and forth like, you know, the music was just right, and I was just hitting every single dance move to every single song, and, you know, was I classy? No. Did I have any self-respect? Probably not. Was I trashy? Maybe so. Did I care? No. And it didn't make it any better that the club has stripper poles. As soon as I saw that, the spirit of Mia came over me because I grabbed onto the pole, I got onto the podium, and you could have swore that I was dancing for Gordon or Ink the way I was up there. The next day, I looked at the footage that my friend took of me the night before, like, you nasty bitch. Like, who taught you that? But it was such a good night. The following day, I was extremely tired. I was so exhausted. I just had no energy to get on here and do a review on anything. And it was a good episode last week, too. Same thing for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. The day that I was supposed to record landed on Halloween, but I was supposed to go out to the West Hollywood parade in my second look of Dora the Explorer. I put a picture up here. I went out to the parade. The parade was such a good time. There was a million people there. So many costumes, so many cool costumes. The music was good. It was such a good vibe. Same situation. The following day, I was exhausted. I had no energy whatsoever. I was in bed just laying there like, I need to get up and talk about Meredith and Lisa Barlow and Heather and Angie K, but just had no energy. So I just thought, you know what? I'll just skip this whole week all together and just start again fresh. And now here we are. So then we see Mia and Jaqueline the following day. They go out to the pool in the backyard. And Mia, you really need to be careful putting your size 15 feet into the pool like that, because did anybody see? She put her feet into the pool and it almost caused a giant tsunami. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing around, Mia. No, but seriously, you really do have to put like 1 foot at a time because, you know, that was kind of dangerous. But, you know, they're sitting there and they start talking about Gordon. Gordon is basically a hurt side chick at this point, and Mia's telling Jaqueline,
well, you know, I mean, I do try to be, you know, inclusive with Gordon, but like he's heard about everything now. Like every time I post a picture with me and Ink, now all of a sudden he's in his feelings. And I'm with Jaqueline. Jaqueline was just like, you really need to pull away from Gordon and, you know, stop inviting him into your spaces, because Mia, at this point, you're hanging out with your side piece, Ink, and your husband at the same time with the kids. Like, what kind of twisted story is that? Then again, that does kind of sound like goals, though. Because technically, you really don't have to be creeping behind your husband's back like Karen. Allegedly. Ooh. If anything, if I was the producers, I would tell Gordon, okay, find like a girlfriend or somebody to bring on for next season so we could make her a full-time cast member and have all four of them, Gordon, his new girlfriend, Ink, and Mia, all on the same season to see how they all interact. That would be interesting to watch. So then we head back over to Potomac because Giselle left early for her daughter's graduation, Angel and Adore's graduation. We see Giselle, she's standing right next to Pastor Holy Whore, Jamal. And did anybody see how Jamal, he just looks so suspicious as if he just got caught cheating for the 100th time, just standing there like, just sweating bullets. I'm like, relax, Jamal, relax. We all know that you're cheating, relax. Allegedly, right? So they graduate, and it was just so beautiful to see. It is so surreal to see the footage of them from their first season when they first got onto the show all the way up to now they're graduating. Like, it's just so crazy. So after that, they have a little ceremony for them, and, you know, I get it that Jamal is trying to be nice for his daughters, but, you know, I just couldn't just sit there and just listen to Jamal give this empowering speech. Like, I get it, again, it's for Angel and Adore, but I'll just be too busy looking at him like, Hey Jamal, so what did you think about Monique's binder? You know, like, absolutely not. I'm not taking advice from Jamal, but all right. So they all get together to eat breakfast, and since it's Wendy's birthday, she gets a phone call from Giselle. I would have just let it go to voicemail, but she picks up and Giselle tells her, happy birthday, Wendy, happy birthday, happy 40th birthday. And you know it took every ounce of energy for Giselle to even make this phone call to Wendy in the first place. You know she's in Potomac in her oddly shaped looking house in the kitchen about to dial her number like, okay, you got this, Giselle, you got this, you're strong, you can do this. Just stay on the phone with her for 5 minutes, 3 minutes at most, say happy birthday, hang up, and you could go back to hating her and faking it for the show. Remember what production told you. You need to be nice to Wendy or else you're gonna end up fired like Robin Dixon. You got this. Oh,
just can't do this. I just can't. No, but I have to. Please don't pick up. Please don't pick up. Please don't pick up.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Wendy, happy birthday. Hey, how are you? But it's something, right? So then Jaqueline, she takes a jab at Karen and she tells Wendy, oh, it's nice that you and Giselle are getting along. It's better than being an old bitter bitch. Obviously, she's talking about Karen, or at least I think she is. Oops. So then Kiarna, she tells Mia, it was pretty wrong of you bringing up a conversation that you had with Karen 3 years ago. For what? She's already going through a lot. Mia was just like, okay, that's kind of like girlfriend boot camp. I went through it. You're probably going to go through it. Eventually, you might get your own flu. She's talking down at Kiarna because I'm assuming that she's breaking the fourth wall and telling Kiarna, you're not like one of us. I actually hold a champagne flute in the intro. I'm full-time. You're just part-time. So stay over there. Kiarna, she was just like, oh, I don't need a flute. Yes, you do, Kiarna. Yes, you do. Let's not lie and pretend like you were not writing a bunch of taglines the night before practicing. You were even in front of the mirror, like practicing your pose. Like, okay, if I get full time this season, this is how I'm going to pose. So let's not lie. You don't want to end up like Jaqueline being a friend of for like 500 seasons and still flopped. So she's like, oh, I don't need a flute. I don't need a flute. But I bet you do because you have the love triangle, right? Well, Kiarna did bring up the relationship status in the first place, right? She did technically start with Mia. Mia then low blows her, and she was just like,
well, first of all, you want to talk about that? Let's talk about your drug dealer boyfriends.
Ooh. Kiarna surprised me with her reply. She was just like, which one? I'm like, now, wait a minute. There's multiple drug dealer boyfriends. Like, this is concerning, Kiarna. Like, what is going on here? She's like, my boyfriend now, he works in economy or economics or he does something that's not drug dealing, right? And then here goes Ashley. Ashley, she was just like, well, I mean, the streets have been talking, Kiarna. The streets have been talking. I did hear on the streets. Like, it's always the streets with Ashley. Like, did the streets also tell you that you were not going to get any money out of Michael in your divorce? Where were the streets then? Since you want to, the streets is basically a crystal ball to Ashley at this point. You could tell her, oh, I have a headache today, Ashley. I mean, the streets have been talking that you do have a headache. I was thinking of going on a hike today or going bike riding. I mean, the streets have been talking that you are going to go bike riding. I'm going to go try that new Mexican restaurant around the corner. The streets have been talking that you're going to try that new restaurant. Like, it's always the damn streets with Ashley. Like, and honestly, Ashley, this episode, this scene right here alone really put the nail in the coffin for you because you're just not needed on the show anymore. Your antics are just old at this point. Like, nobody cares. Like, it's just always the same thing. Like, you throw something out, then you act confused, you act dumb, like, huh? And it's just always the same cycle. Like, at this point, just hand over your champagne flute over to Jazzy because she's the one who really deserves it. So then I believe Kiarna, she tells Mia, okay, let's talk about your past. And Mia, she was just like,
okay, like, I'm a stripper. I used to serve, steak and lobster. What about it?
So then they start going at it. And then in the confessional, Stacy is so hilarious. She is just such a good addition to the show. She was just like, well, I mean, technically, Mia, she brought up that, she was dating a drug dealer boyfriend. And, I think that's the reason why, she brought up that, she was a stripper, but I don't think that we necessarily know that she's a stripper, right? Am I right? Oh, she is a stripper? Well, okay then. Like, Stacy is so damn cute, but you still don't have me fooled. I know that you're Kenya Moore. Kiarna and Mia continue going at it, and if Kiarna really wanted to take it there with Mia, the second that Mia mentioned anything about her ex-drug dealing boyfriend, you should have just mentioned Mia's mom. Because Mia has told us that her mom is a recovering drug addict. So if you want to low blow me with that, then I'm going to low blow you with this. Is it wrong? Yes, but I mean, at this point, it is what it is. Mia continues with the low blows, and she's like,
first of all, you're the one that knows about the streets, stitches.
And I'm like, oh, wow, Mia, really? She calls her that because she had to get stitches last season after her fight with Tickle Me Elmo. She was left bleeding. She got hit in the head with a cup. And even Kiarna was taken aback by this. She was just like, oh, wow, really? And, it's so funny because Kiarna called her out perfectly. She was just like, Mia, you're telling me this. You're looking down at me for getting into a physical fight when you attacked Wendy. And yeah, Mia, you act like we forgot or that the footage is not there of you swinging your purse, you throwing a drink, and you literally trying to attack Wendy. And if it wasn't for the security guard, you would have had your hands on Wendy. So now, you're poking fun at her, calling her Stitches, when we could have called you, a monster or something. So, it's just the double standards. And then here goes Ashley. Ashley, just get off the damn show. She looks over at Kiana. She's like, wait a minute. Stitches? What does she mean by that? Like, what stitches? And I'm like, again, it's the same cycle with her. Like, she throws something out there and then she acts confused. Like, wait, what are you talking about when somebody comes at her? Because Kiana's like, look, first of all, Ashley, you should be the last person discussing anything or questioning anything about me because that was your friend, Tickle Me Elmo. That was your friend that I had to give a Sesame Street beatdown to. And now all of a sudden you're questioning me about stitches. You know exactly what you're talking about. And here goes Ashley. I'm just so perplexed. Like, I don't know. Like, I can't fathom like your answer. I don't get it. And I'm like, Ashley, enough. Like, hey, Ashley, come over here. Come over here for a second. Give me your champagne flute. Give me that. Here you go, Jazzy. Like, I'm just sick of her antics. Like, it's always the same thing. So Kiana, she starts getting emotional. She's like, I can't do this right now. I can't do this. She gets up. She walks away. She starts screaming like, I hate people talking about my scar. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I was just defending Candace and myself. And now I have a scar on my head. And, Ashley, she's like, I just wanted to know because I thought she had a makeup line or something. And I'm like, Ashley... Like, enough already with that. So then, what's her name? Karen. She wakes up from her slumber and she's like, all right, time to get Jaqueline together for the 100th time. Okay, so I just want to talk about something really quickly, Jaqueline. Let's talk about Mr. PP. PP is her husband, ex-boyfriend, whatever you want to call it. The one that she says partial parenting. The guy with the big penis. Karen was just like, I just want to talk about Mr. PP. Let's talk about how were you also defending him when he was, charged for 25 convictions? 25 what? 25 convictions. Yes, 25 convictions. Were you there defending him too? And I'm like, wow, between you, Jackie, and Mia, I don't know what kind of scandalous lives you two were living before this show. Like, it is just crazy because I feel like there's gonna be more coming out their closet. The longer they stay on the show, like, this is crazy. And here goes Jaqueline. So I mean, okay. So the thing is that it wasn't technically like technically it was a conviction. It was kind of like a mistake. Okay, but like, okay, so it wasn't 25. She tries to explain it in the confessional, and she basically, Patrick, Mr. PP, he's a cop. He's a shady cop, and I mean, the fact that he's a cop in general, that's a red flag right there, but okay. She was just like, something happened with this, but now he works at a different police station, and I mean, 25 convictions, Jaqueline. You know how I feel like Mia probably told this information to Karen? Because Mia has been defending her bestie the entire trip so far until this very moment. She just left Karen to go after her. She was just like, I'm just gonna worry about Ink, Gordon, and my waffle. Because Karen, where did she get that information from in like less than 24 hours? I'm pretty sure that it was not on the internet. Mr. PP is not really known like that. Neither is Jaqueline, if we really want to take it there. So I'm pretty sure that Mia told this information to Karen when they fell out 2 seasons ago. So Jaqueline, she gets up and she's like, no, everybody has a past. I'm like, oh no, the hypocrite jumped out. I'm like, I cannot believe you're using that excuse when you and your bestie were just going at Kiana for dating an ex drug dealing boyfriend or whatever. And then I like how Stacey and Wendy were making fun of her, like, oh now everybody has a past. Now everybody has a past. They just pick and choose when things matter. Ashley, here goes Ashley. She's just trying to attach herself to any storyline at this point. She goes at it with Wendy. No, Wendy, you need to stop. Wendy, stop. Wendy, no, enough. And then Wendy's just telling her, like, Ashley, shut up. So then Ashley, she starts, converting her body, like, no, you don't tell me to shut up. You don't tell me to shut up. You don't tell me and let it just touch. Like, she was just moving like Omarion, like, you don't tell me to stop. You don't tell me to do that or shut up. And then Stacey had to get her together. Stacey was just like, first of all, you need to sit down, Missy, because, it's Wendy's birthday right now, and you're going to be respecting Wendy. It's her birthday, so you need to sit down and be quiet. And I'm like, yes, Stacey, I knew I liked you. And Jaqueline, she gets up embarrassed, and she's like, well, you know what, Karen? At least I don't have 2 DUIs like you. Karen was just like, I don't have 2 DUIs, you dingbat. I'm like, Karen, you do, but we'll talk about that a different time. So then Jaqueline, she goes over to sit next to Mia, sitting across from Karen, and she starts telling Karen, Mr. PP actually told me to take it easy on you, to give you some leadway. But now look, Karen, she continues, and she's like, first of all, he talked to you? I'm like, damn, Karen took out all her claws out on Jaqueline. And I mean, Jaqueline, she was making an example out of you. And Jaqueline, you see, your issue with this group is that you're just not fast enough. Everybody else on the cast is fast enough, including Stacey, who's clueless 24/7. By the time you say something, it's just like, okay, the moment's over. You got chewed up by Karen 2 episodes in a row, like, shameful. Everyone splits up. Kiana goes over to Jazzy and she tells her, I really don't like discussing my scar. It's a very sensitive subject, especially coming from somebody who looks like they got rocks thrown at their face. She's talking about Mia, by the way. So that Mia, Jaqueline, and Ashley, they're in a room together. They're discussing Karen. They're like, oh yeah, Karen just doesn't want to take accountability for anything. She wants to dig up things on somebody else to deflect from her issue. And I mean, realistically, none of you on this cast, maybe Wendy, cares about what's going on with Karen. Everybody just wants to drag her for what's going on with her, rightfully so, because what Karen did is wrong. But I mean, none of you really care, like genuinely care or want to see her in a better position, especially you, Mia. Mia's just like, oh yeah, we need to get her some help, some rehab, which I said before that I feel like Karen possibly does need rehab, but I don't think that is genuinely coming from Mia. So they're pulling up all the receipts on Karen, and then Stacey, she comes in and she's like, oh, so what's going on, guys? What's being discussed? What are you guys talking about? Mia, she was just like,
so like Stacey, look at everything that she's being charged for. This is what you're defending?
Stacey, she's looking at it like,
oh my God, I cannot believe this. Wait a minute, what? Like, wait, hold on. It's a DUI? Oh no, I need to go discuss this with Karen. I'll be right back, okay?
So she walks away, she goes to get Karen. Karen, she's giving a little talk to everybody. She's like, what I have to do with Jaqueline, I really don't want to do this, but sometimes I really do have to take it there. But I don't want that to be an example. And I'm like, Karen, please. Like, okay, like, yeah, you chewed up Jaqueline here and there, but, let's not give speeches like this. So then Stacey, she sits down with her. And again, Stacey is on a whole completely different world, completely different show, right? She's sitting down with Karen and she's like, well, Karen, I did defend you with everything that's going on, with you and Mia. And, I'm just really concerned because they said that, they possibly want to put you in rehab or something like that. And that you also agreed to go to rehab. And I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I'm like, Stacey is so damn cute. I know it's you, Kenya. Karen was shocked. Everybody was shocked, and it was left out of to be continued. So we'll see how this whole thing plays out. And one more thing. So earlier this week, I actually early voted because by the time you see this video, it's probably going to be like less than 24 hours before the actual election day on Tuesday. And I just have a feeling it's going to be a hot mess. And there's going to be long lines on Tuesday to vote. So I just decided to do it a week earlier. But I just want to say for the Latinos, because I'm Latino myself, and all the minorities, honestly, who voted for the orange clown, he does not respect you. He does not like you. And he does not have the best interest at heart for you. I voted for Kamala Harris. I do hope that she wins. I don't know how this whole election is going to play out by Tuesday night or the end of the week. I just want to say stay safe and stay very cautious of your surrounding because anything could happen this week. So, we shall see how this whole thing plays out by the next time we talk. So until then, let me know what you all thought about this whole entire episode down in the comments. Bye, everybody. Mwah.